I didn't plan to be a healer or an acupuncturist or anything involving medicine. My dream as a child was to be an artist. Um, I came to this profession by chance. I grew up in a family that did not appreciate the spirituality that I had as a child.
Okay.
As a child, I saw things, I heard things, but my mother was always telling me, no, you don't hear that, and no, you don't see that. But I grew up understanding that there was a lot more to who I was and the world around me, things that I could not see, things that I could not explain, but knowing that they existed. And so my life grew around being afraid of the energy that I felt. And it wasn't until later in life when I came into Yoruba, I started meditating and chanting and moved more out of formal religion into spirituality, that this journey led me to become a healer.
Let me interject here. Why did you choose Yoruba as a
Yoruba
path for you?
chose me.
Okay.
So because of the situations that I was experiencing at one point in my life, I was led to be introduced to a Yoruba priestess.
Okay.
And through that experience with a Yoruba priestess and her healing work, she was an amazing, amazing healer, an amazing clairvoyant and clairaudient. I became interested in, well, what is this? You know, what is this that I'm feeling? What is being sparked inside of me? And my journey with her ended up in me becoming a Yoruba, being initiated, and my son being initiated.
Okay.
And my life just kind of took a different turn once I met her. And through meeting this woman who became my godmother, I was introduced to Reiki. Reiki is an alternative medicine. It is based on an energetic theory of everything being energy, the universe containing so much energy that it never is depleted of energy, and there's a way to harness this in order to heal yourself, but also to heal others.
Okay, a little bit more practical when you say Reiki. Well, if I went to see you on Reiki, what kind of what
So
could I expect?
it's a kind of laying on of hands energy healing modality.
Got it.
So when I say complementary, there's no contraindications of using Reiki with any other form of medicine
So it
that
can be
might
used
be practiced.
with everything.
With everything.
Okay.
Complements everything.
All right, sorry, I didn't want to take you off your train.
Mm-hmm. So once I found Reiki, and again, everything came to me by chance. I was sitting in a bar waiting for a boyfriend when I heard some gentleman down at one end of the bar talking about aliens and his experience with aliens, and he came over and introduced himself, and he said, oh, I'm also a Reiki master teacher.
Mm.
And I said, oh, okay, you are. And we planned to meet, and he never called me, never followed up.
Maybe the aliens took him out.
Well, he actually was taken by aliens.
Okay, that's what I mean. I'm not joking.
I'm not joking either. But lo and behold, another round of events took place in my life that I ended up leaving the garment industry where I was an artist. And I was very much making a lot of money in this industry, but it burnt me out. I couldn't stand being in it any longer. So when I left that industry, I went to another industry. I went to the beauty industry.
Okay.
And as a part of the beauty industry, I worked with a woman who had a salon that only catered to natural hair and only catered to locked hair. and that was a one-of-a-kind type of beauty salon.
Who was that?
That's Locksmiths with
Okay.
Ono Serio Ma'at.
Okay.
And I was her manager,
Okay.
her front desk. So lo and behold, one day I'm in the salon, and here comes the same man walking through the salon to get his hair done.
When the student's ready, what they say?
That's right. I knew the teacher would come. And he took a look at me, and I looked at him, and he said, well, I guess I'm supposed to do
Okay.
your Reiki attunements.
Okay.
And that's really how I started learning about energy and learning about healing and allowing myself to blossom into my mediumship without as much fear.
Okay.
And one thing led to another. I decided, well, I want to have a spa and a salon. And the woman who was my manager at that point, again, had a lot of twists and turns in my life, was Jelani Bendele.
Okay.
And a very wise woman. And she said, so who's going to do all these spa treatments, Deena? And I was like, who is going to do all these spa treatments? I do Reiki. I'm really good at Reiki. But that's not everything in a spa.
Okay.
So I started to think about what else would I want to do. And I was around a young woman who was going to Swedish Tech, and she was learning massage, and I looked at some of the things that she was learning, and I said, I think I might want to do that.
Okay.
To be a massage therapist.
So how old were you in your career at that time?
I think I was 50
Okay. All right.
when I went back to school
Okay.
for the second time.
Yes. Okay.
And I studied massage therapy. And during my course of learning to become a massage therapist, I was introduced to acupuncture at the school. And I ended up going to New York College of Health Professions.
Okay.
When I laid on that table and had my first acupuncture treatment,
What happened?
I said, I gotta have this.
So-
I gotta know this stuff.
So-
I had
so-
never experienced.
So you got the experience.
Oh my gosh! It was like, this has got to be mine.
Let me tell you what happened to me in my first experience. If I could just interject here, I was in Southern Africa in Johannesburg. Went to see my teacher. I didn't know he was going to be my teacher. He said, in South Africa is doing apartheid, so I couldn't go in the front of the house. I had to go around the back, right? So I go into the back, and so he takes me into in the clinic, takes my pulse, look at my tongue. Couldn't speak very much English. Put me on the table, and he gave me some points. And the next thing I knew, I was in this. Those Chinese paintings with clouds. Mm-hmm. Those mountain clouds. Mm-hmm. I swear, I was in that mountain clouds.
Wow.
And every time he would come, I started laughing. He would come in and peek through the clouds and look down at me and go back out. I couldn't believe it.
Wow.
It was amazing. Go ahead.
Yeah, and that's pretty much how I felt. I was like, this is amazing. I could feel the flow
Yes.
of energy through my body. And the other part of it was the deep relaxation.
Yes.
It was, and not just that it lasted while I was on the table, but it continued after I got off the table, when I went home.
Yes.
And it was like having this really great woosah moment where things that I was fretting over or anxious about, I just suddenly knew that I'm going to be able to work out everything.
Yes.
And that was just one treatment.
Yes.
And so I was hooked. After that, I was just hooked.
Your story is a story every acupuncturist or person who's doing, acupuncture and Chinese medicine is repeatable. They had that first treatment, it changed their life. They said, I can't go back to where I was before. Okay, continue.
So I went through the program, which was arduous because at this stage I'm 50-something years old.
Of course.
And just finishing getting my licensure to be a massage therapist and enjoying that and becoming involved in that. And then I had to go back.
Yes, you had a lot on your plate.
It was a lot. It was, and I still had I still had, I was a partner, I was a mother, a grandmother, I was a sister,
Yes.
I was a friend, I was all of these things.
Yes.
And I literally had to give up my life for a while
Yes.
and devote myself to
Study.
learning and
Yes.
studying this art.
Yes.
And I really think of it as an art,
Of course.
one of the healing arts that
Yes.
I know. And so that's pretty much my journey with acupuncture while I was in school.
Okay. Let me ask you a question about the training. When you got out and you look back on the training, what do you think? Did you think you?
I think it was missing some spots.
Okay. Well, what spots were?
As I became more adept at acupuncture outside of school,
Right.
in my own practice, and also engaging in other forms of spirituality and energy work and healing work, I started to understand how this was all connected.
Yes.
That acupuncture is just one way,
Yes.
but I also understood that putting all of these things that I was learning together really made the best medicine.
Okay.
So the spiritual aspect of acupuncture, that's the piece.
Okay. And that's one of the things that I find a lot of acupuncturists, especially people of color, they find that acupuncture it doesn't have the spirit aspect of it, or they're not taught the spirit aspect of Chinese medicine. And so they end up with, having to develop and discover that themselves. So your story and your journey, I've heard that so many times from so many acupuncturists and people who are doing, healing work. So, yeah. So
I can understand that.
today, what are you doing? I mean, what you involved with today? What's going on?
Well, my practice has morphed based on where I am in my life right now.
Okay.
So, as a spiritualist, because
Okay.
I'm finally claiming that
Okay.
after running away from it for so long, I totally am engaged in the fact that I am clairvoyant,
Yes.
I am clairaudient,
Yes.
and how that operates in the world of my practice.
Yes.
So acupuncture is me directing energy,
Mhm.
but even before I put the first needle in,
Mhm.
I'm looking to see what the energy is doing.
Yes.
I'm looking beyond the physical layers into the organs themselves.
Yes.
And through my experience, I've also come to learn that a lot of the illnesses that I see people have a lot of trauma-based focus. And it is an experience that people are holding in their bodies, they're holding in their minds, and the acupuncture just allows for things to be brought to the surface. And it's just one of the things that I use. I continue to use Reiki, and I have a lot of Reiki-based practice.
Let
Not
me
use
just
needles
visit the
with
trauma concept a minute here. And in India, in yogic traditions, they talk about karma.
Mm-hmm.
And on a deep level, karma is just memory, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you don't have memory of it in your body or your spirit, then you have no karma.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing associated with that. So often I talk to people about certain points on the body that will remove, the emotional memory of a trauma, and it changes the karma.
Mm-hmm.
And so I constantly go there with a lot of people, who come in with all of this stuff, talking about my karma is bad, or I got, I say, let's erase it. I have this chart of the marma points. You know what marma points are?
Mm-mm.
That's the Indian Ayurvedic acupuncture.
Okay.
And they have some points on the feet that if you use those points, you can eliminate a person's karma. And those points correspond directly with liver 3.
Okay.
I was
Makes
amazed.
sense. Yeah.
Okay. So often I integrate these different approaches like you do from different traditions. And you can see that these things were all, at one point, were all together. And that's what you're experiencing, and the work that you do, I can pick it up. I mean, you just start talking about, Oshun, right?
Yes.
I want you to talk a little bit about that. But even before you said anything about Oshun, I could see, and people who don't understand what Oshun is, she'll explain a little bit about that. That's part of one of the deities in the Yoruba system.
Yes.
She said she worked in the garment district.
Yes.
That's all about clothing.
Yep.
That's a rule. Then she went to hair, beauty. Right?
Yes.
This is all Oshun.
Yeah, all leading me to one place.
So how do you integrate all of that?
For me, acupuncture has become magical. It's become a part of who I am
Okay.
as a healer, and something that I could never give up. It's just one piece. Reiki is another piece. Yoga is another piece. Trauma healing is another piece. Somatic healing is another piece. Qigong is another piece. And herbs, to me, there's also that magic in herbs. So when I use all of these things together, as I said, I'm looking at the body to see what the energy is saying to me. Quite often my clients that come to me don't even know who I am until they get there.
Okay.
Because I've started with a Reiki treatment.
Right.
And through Reiki, I'm able to tell them this has happened to them and that has happened to them and this is what I'm feeling in their body. They usually don't even think about having acupuncture. They'll come to me with a digestive issue.
Right.
And I end up saying, okay, so let's talk about what your father did,
Right.
or what your mother did, or what happened in the 5th grade.
So this is the beauty of this medicine.
Yes.
Is that it doesn't separate you from your environment, it doesn't separate you from your past, it doesn't separate you from your experiences, and just isolate the illness as, some kind of illness that's in isolation, and we're going to give you a treatment just for that. And of course, we know that's a bit short-sighted because it doesn't, we're a holistic being.
Absolutely.
And so all those other parts of us.
Very much integrated concept and way of practicing medicine and healing. I work out of my home in Bronx. I also am the healing director of the Reciprocity Foundation.
What is that?
The Reciprocity Foundation is an organization that I started volunteering with 15 years ago.
Okay.
And I started my Reiki practice with them.
Okay.
And so they have seen me through becoming a massage therapist and then coming into acupuncture. And because of the work that I've done with them in clinic and opening up the clinics for them and women's healing, they asked me to be, if I would be to be promoted to the director of healing.
Okay.
So Reciprocity Foundation is a BIPOC LGBTQ organization that started 18 years ago as one of the only organizations in New York City that was giving services and social services as well as healing services to LGBTQ youth.
Okay.
So runaway youth who had nowhere to go, who had no training. They were there, an organization to help them find themselves, to help them find career choices, to help them to get education. And I was joyfully involved with the Reciprocity Foundation. And I have grown with them as they have grown. And now this is about 20 years of being a really viable aspect of the New York City. And we are now opening up a new space in Harlem.
All right. Let's talk about the future of this medicine. Because, I mean, you know, today, the young people, they out there, they're looking for jobs, looking for careers. They don't know what to do, where to go. And, you know, this is something I think a lot of young people, if they decide they want to look at something that's very different, and you could be your own boss and you could set your own, whatever. Talk about that, the future of this medicine. What do you see?
I see that there needs to be people like us going into the schools at the grade age level, at the high school level, to talk about other options. We do this with all types of other fields of interest, but no one is doing this for Black people, people of color, for the LGBTQ community, introducing them to an alternative medicine. And it's acupuncture, it's massage, it's all these different things. I did not know about these fields of science.
Okay.
And that's what it is.
Okay.
These are fields
Right.
of stuff.
So in terms of business, now we would talk about business, right? So a young person, what would you advise in terms of when they go into this field?
I think that they can have the life that they want.
Okay.
They're either going to work to make a specific amount of money, or they're going to have it be an adjunct to other things that they're going to do. But you can pretty much make what you want your life to be in terms of this work. Yeah, for me, just being an acupuncturist or just doing acupuncture work, that didn't call to me. It's a piece of what I do.
Okay.
I love learning about all the other sciences. I wanted to take Tai Chi, so I did.
Okay.
I wanted to do Qigong, so I did.
Okay.
I wanted to be certified in yoga, so I
that's
did.
part of your business
so
model?
all of this is a part of my business. And what I do in my work, in my community, is I partner with people.
Okay.
So in a partnership with people who are out of balance, they don't even usually just come to me for acupuncture.
Yes.
As I said, they'll usually come to me because they have heard of me. I don't even
Word of mouth or
advertise
something? Okay.
any of those
Yeah,
things.
same,
It's
pretty much.
all word of mouth.
Yes.
And they'll know about the acupuncture, they'll know about the massage, but it's the deep trauma healing that they usually are coming to me for. It may be the pain in the body, but it ends up being, what has been happening in the life.
Let me ask you a question about insurance reimbursement with acupuncture. Do you submit insurance?
Nope.
Okay. Some practitioners do. There was a doctor, a friend of mine in Cleveland. He used to say, as MDs, we use the insurance like an ATM machine. We decide how much money we want. Mm-hmm. And so, I mean, it was just amazing to hear him say that.
Wow.
Meanwhile, the people who are really making a difference, like you and me on the ground, the insurance companies for many years were denying that. Mm-hmm. But now a lot of the young people who get into it, they can make a quite interesting, impact on their economic life.
Absolutely.
Through insurance and all those kind of things. And they can do all the things that you're talking about, the Reiki, the Qigong, the yoga. They can incorporate all those things into their practice. But, always have a financial base that they can always depend on.
Absolutely.
Because I know you went through rocky years of financially
I've
up and
had
down.
some luck.
Okay.
Because what happened is once I graduated from school, and said, really, what do I want to do with this?
Right.
Just being in the practice,
Yes.
I didn't have the energy for it.
Okay.
I was like, this is not going to work for me.
Right.
I think it's part of the piece of me that was the artist and the
Right.
creative and all
Right.
of that. It's like, so I had to really step out of the box.
Okay.
To see how this was going to work for me. One of my godbrothers said to me once, he was an acupuncturist, and he said, I stopped practicing 10 years ago. And I'm like, why did you stop practice? He said, I got tired of being around sick people.
Oh.
And I was like, that is interesting. That's
Ooh.
interesting. And a piece of me kind of began to feel that way when people are coming to you all the time with all the illnesses and all of the woes. One of the reasons it was that people are so non-conforming. It is difficult to get people to do what you ask them to do to be well.
Yes, but you got to factor that into your expectations.
Here goes the partnership piece.
Okay.
So if I partner with you, I'm going to make sure you're doing what I asked you to do.
Yeah.
You know, so in my partnerships with folks, I put together a plan that's going to work for them.
Right.
And so it's an ABCD plan. We're going to work together. I'm going to call you. You're going to get support. And this plan is for 3 months. So I know that I'm going to see you every week.
Okay.
I'm going to come to you if you want me to come to you. And you're going to be charged for it, of course. And you're going to be charged for this partnership.
Right.
And so that really helped me to this is specific clientele that I have.
Okay.
And it's usually women.
Okay.
Some men.
Okay.
And it's usually older women.
Mm-hmm.
And they can afford to be in a partnership. Okay. So this is how, and if I have to do a sliding scale with someone, I will do a sliding scale. But the partnerships really work for me, and it works for them. I've gotten, really, really good responses.
Well, I mean, you put your personal stamp on it.
I become their accountability
partner. Of course. Mm-hmm. I mean, I have people still seeing me after 40 years.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
They go to other places and they can always come back. I gotta come back to you. I'm like, okay.
Okay. You're still coming to me for the same thing.
or something different because of age, Yeah, so it's really interesting. And you know what? It's been a pleasure talking to you. And when we do our round table, I'm going to invite you back for that.
Please do. It's been a joy.
Okay, so we can really get into the nuts and bolts of, specifics. Today it was just, to introduce people to you.
Well, I appreciate you asking me to be a part of this experiment and this part of the round table. Okay. It's really great to have a group of Black acupuncturists come together. Mm-hmm. That's not the usual.
Okay.
And I cannot wait to see how this blossoms and also how this community blossoms to bring other young people into this world.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.